Hello and a very good evening to all of our viewers joining us from India and across the world. This is a continuation of our special ground coverage from Jammu and Kashmir in the aftermath of the Pahalgam attack and now Operation Sindoor. And what a day it has been. If Operation Sindoor Part 1 was something that made military history, Operation Sindoor Phase 2 is something that has taken things entirely to the next level. India has used drones to strike in Lahore. India has used combat aerial vehicles to strike at the heart of air defense in one of Pakistan's biggest cities as part of Phase 2 of Operation Sindoor, a retaliation for what happened in Pahalgam. Chinese equipment stands defeated in at least Lahore. There are still many claims and counterclaims here on NDTV, of course. We will give you only the facts as a continuing fog of war, especially from Pakistan, continues to darken. The other big story that we've been tracking, of course, is Pakistan's big retaliation that we now know consisted of many missiles and drones targeting at least 15 Indian cities, has failed completely. 100% failure of Pakistan's missiles and drones being reported by the Indian government thanks to India's integrated air defense system. The anatomy of this entire ballet of sophisticated weapons in the air is something that we're going to decode on this special broadcast from here, very close to the line of control in Kupwara sector. Welcoming onto the show because we want to get only the best experts and best minds on a complicated and shape-shifting subject here on India Matters. I'm joined by our favorite air power analyst and writer, Angad Singh. Thanks, Angad, for being with me this evening. Lieutenant General Atta Hasnain, one of the most respected commentators on defense. He's been, among many other things, a corps commander at the Srinagar Corps in Jammu and Kashmir, and has had many other assignments as well. And in a short while from now, we'll be joined also by Air Chief Marshal RKS Bhadoria, former Chief of the Air Staff. Thanks, gentlemen, for being with me. General Hasnain, I'll kick it off with you first. Operation Sindoor 2.0 has basically consisted of Indian drone strikes on cities in Pakistan. Never mind what the Pakistanis are admitting or not admitting, the Indian government has said Indian drones struck in Lahore and have destroyed systems there. Your first reaction, sir?
Well, Ashif, first of all, Operation Sindoor 2.0 is a escalation which Pakistan has initiated on the night of the 7th and 8th of May. Its escalation completely failed, although I am somehow convinced that Pakistan was attempting to sort of try a low-key kind of an escalation and perhaps did not go whole hog. But anyway, our AD systems were completely effective. The integrated AD system ensured that all the missiles and drones which were launched at the 23 cities and airfields were all neutralized effectively. Having said that, the next cycle, perhaps Pakistan was expecting that this would be taken as the end of the escalation, but India has decided to respond, and I think very effectively and correctly, because the kind of response which came from Pakistan was not really expected. It was expected that Pakistan would probably tone down its overall response in the manner in which it happened after Balakot, but a very kind of a dynamic response came against 23 cities, which could not be taken lightly. And the government of India has very correctly decided to respond to that again. Now, of course, the most important aspect is the Chinese radars, which make up the air defense systems of the important cities of Rawalpindi and Lahore, have both been taken out. And I'm sure Angad will comment on that more in greater detail. But that itself has punched a hole into the air defense system of these two very important areas in Pakistan, leaving them free and vulnerable to the employment of Indian drones or missiles against them. We have demonstrated the fact that we are not targeting any civilian areas at all. Unlike Pakistan's targeting of the line of control, where across in our areas, they are only targeting our civilian areas 20 casualties in our villages. There is something which is absolutely heinous as much as what happened in Pahalgam. India continues to maintain and ensure its human
Absolutely.
rights stance is absolutely correct.
In fact, General Hasnain, at the end of our show today, I'll be playing out my ground report from here at the line of control in Kupwara, where I visited one such village which has similarly been shelled. But coming to you, Angad, with the usual, acknowledgement that we are in a fog of war situation, the Indian government statement today on a drone strike in Lahore, disabling an air defense system there, of Chinese origin. What is your take on that? Can you analyze that and tell us what you think of how it happened?
This is something the Indian military and the Indian Air Force in particular has trained for and is equipped for a long time now, Shiv. We've seen demonstrations of this periodically in the desert at the Vayu Shakti exercise. So we've seen effectively this concept in action of anti radiation drones taking out air defense sites and air defense radars. I think this reaction was inevitable given that Pakistan escalated yesterday. I think the initial Indian strikes were warranted, and the Indian statement and the choice of targets were designed to give Pakistan an off ramp from further confrontation. And I think like in 2019, I think Pakistan has overplayed their hand by reacting in this way to what any normal country would accept as a justified strike on a non-state, non-military, non-civilian target, on a absolutely black and white, explicitly terror target. For a country to react this way at this scale, it kind of perhaps inadvertently, but it certainly shows them for what they are, which is to say an avowed and open supporter of terror.
Angad, before I go back to General Hasnain, I wanted to ask you, your view on the things being said about what this drone strike in Lahore says about the Chinese-supplied air defense system. I think it's called the HQ-9, if I'm not mistaken. Is there, does this pronounce something about that system, or is it too early to say?
I think it is too early to say, Shiv. Generally, long-range air defense systems like the HQ-9 will have radars that are optimized for those ranges and those sorts of engagements against enemy high-value targets, against enemy fighters and so on. And so they need layered air defenses to support the actual main radar and missile sites against things like drones and short-range munitions. And either these sites were not equipped with those layered defenses, or these drones were able to penetrate those short-range defenses and carry out their mission of suppressing the air defense sites.
General Hasnain, the other, the part two of what the Indian government statement today was about Pakistan's use of missile drones to try and hit military establishments in a whole range of Indian cities, from Srinagar, Avantipura, Jalandhar, Chandigarh, Adampur, Amritsar, Uttarlai, and so many others. And not a single one of them apparently hit. The Indian government has said India's integrated air defense, intercepted every one of them, which is, an incredible feat. What did you think about that? We've seen pictures of some of those intercepted pieces of incoming projectile in places like Amritsar and elsewhere. This was pretty big, wasn't it?
Shiv, I'm particularly impressed by the fact that our integrated air defense system has proved to be that efficient. The air defense component of the Indian Armed Forces hasn't really been activated for a fairly long time. In fact, almost since 1971, if you look at it. And in this particular case, it has demonstrated its efficiency to a very great extent. I'm not sure how serious was Pakistan's intent, but obviously when you're firing at 23 cities or airfields and a slew of missiles and drones are being used, obviously there is a serious intent, I take it. Now, I think the S-400 Triumph, on which we have spent how much? 39,000 crores, what I remember, for 5 regiments. I'm not even certain if all 5 regiments are there. I think 3 regiments or 4 regiments had finally come in. So that is it's a great investment, I would say. It's absolutely an investment which is paying itself back in a single night. If the integrated AD system could take down all these missiles and drones, then obviously it has delivered completely, I would say. The next thing that I would warn about, either this escalation comes to an end here this evening, or tonight is the night of waiting. If tonight you find that once again there is an attempt by Pakistan, although both the NSAs are reputed to have, or rather, we have heard that they have spoken to each other. We don't know what the contents of that talk has been. Pakistan may just decide not to escalate this further.
Yeah.
But if it decides to do so, we have to be prepared for the next level, and that can go to any level as such.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Angad, I wanted to draw you in on that. The Indian government statement saying that, an unspecified number of missiles, presumably, and drones, presumably more than 15, since there were 15 targets listed in that statement, all military establishments, airfields and such, and the integrated air defence system of India kind of triggered. Can you break down what this system looks like and how it would have worked, Angad?
There's a pretty comprehensive system of airspace awareness, what in military terms would be called situational awareness, that fuses sensor information from basically any available sensor at centralized, not centralized rather, at federated nodes all over the country. And these nodes are therefore aware of airspace not only across India's entire areas of interest, but in their specific geographical sectors as well. So as of April, I suppose all these nodes, all these sectors have been activated and have been looking skyward, and we saw proof of that yesterday, and we've seen this awareness now translate to action where they've been able to successfully intercept all these incoming munitions.
Would we be able to guess what kinds of systems would have been activated in this kind of a ballet of interceptions, Angad? Would the S-400 or the Akash or the Spider be involved, or all three? I'm only asking because there is so much buzz and conjecture and people naming all these systems. Can you give us a realistic sense?
Shiv, the answer is everything. Nothing is going to be held back at this stage. What specifically was used in successful interceptions, I can't say. But what's activated is everything. At this moment, nothing that can look and shoot skyward is being held back.
Okay, I've got a couple of seconds left, but General Hasnain, when you said tonight's the night, and if things escalate from here on, we probably will know tonight unless Pakistan has some kind of an off-ramp to get off it. Can you elaborate on that, sir, very quickly before I go into a break?
I do think, Shiv, that Pakistan does not have the military capability and wherewithal today to be able to take this to the next and the next higher level of escalation. So there's been a lot of bravado which they have exhibited. They have demonstrated a hell of a lot. But I do perceive that tonight is the night in which they will take a decision to pull back. If it is not so, I think tomorrow is a day on its own. Anything can happen tomorrow onwards.
Okay, anything can happen tomorrow onwards. I'm going to be staying the night here tonight, very close to the line of control in Kupwara. Angad and General Hasnain, I request you to stay with me as I take a very, very quick break because I have to. When we're coming back, I'm going to look ahead and try and look at what could happen next. That's after this break. And just a short while ago, I was at the line of control in Chaukebal, another town that has been shelled by Pakistan, directly in the line of fire, hitting civilians. This is what I found over there, reporting from the exact place where a shell impacted, right in the middle of civilians. seem like the odd pothole on any road in any part of this country, especially for those of us who live in towns or cities. But what you're seeing right here is actually the impact point of a Pakistani shell or mortar that landed on the night of Operation Sindoor when Pakistan began to escalate. I'm here very close to the line of control in Chaukibal town in North Kashmir's Kupwara sector. And the shell or mortar that has landed here burst into thousands of little pieces and went straight into the houses and shops that flank this tiny little road in this small little town in North Kashmir. This little shoe shop right next to the impact point suffered the most. Take a look at that signboard. You don't even know what the shop's name is because it's been completely shattered, the pieces everywhere. Thankfully, there was nobody in the shop when this happened. But please take a look at the damage here in the shop. All the glass panes have been destroyed. They lie here in pieces. All of the glass pieces here are of the glass panes of this shop. They have to put the shutters down because nothing anymore protects them, from the elements. Completely shattered products, damage, huge amount of glass pieces everywhere, and a cost to the shopkeeper who thankfully lived about 6 or 7 kilometers away from here, and thankfully there was nothing. ये आपकी दुकान है जी, और आप नहीं थे जब ये हुआ था?
लगभग 4 बजे के करीब हुआ है, सुबह के 4 बजे के करीब हुआ है। तो अब तो हम उस वक्त घरों में थे अपने, तो नमाज से पहले
थैंक गॉड कि आप नहीं थे यहाँ पर।
सर जी, हम शुक्र पढ़ते हैं कि हम यहाँ पर खुद नहीं थे, तो वरना यहाँ पर जानी हालात बहुत ज़्यादा ख़राब होते हैं। जी, क्योंकि ये जो इलाका है यहाँ पर इस वक्त बहुत ज़्यादा भीड़ होती है, तो यहाँ पर ब्लॉक जो है नज़दीकी पड़ता है, तो अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 30-40 बंदों की जान तो जानी थी फिर ऐसे। जी,
कितने शेल्स गिरे थे उस रात?
यहाँ पर लगभग इस पूरे चौकीबल एरिया में 8 से 10 शेल गिरे हैं जो, और यहाँ पर जो इस मार्केट में एक गिरा है और यहाँ से थोड़ा आधे किलोमीटर दूर एक और गिरा हुआ है।
You can see the glass pieces. Just look at the all the damage in this particular shop. And if you just walk a little outside, remember this is not a military installation, as we've been reporting from Uri sector as well. This is hardly a military installation. This is where human beings live. And now all the shutters are down. You can see glass shattered everywhere, windows shattered everywhere. Some of the people in the houses have actually left and gone towards Srinagar and Sopor, which are safer territories at this point of time. Because they just don't know when that next shell is going to land. The irony of this entire unfolding situation, and in many ways underlined by this horrifying crater caused by a shell here on the road in Chaukibal. I'm going to ask Ashwini to, once again focus on this, where the impact happened, is that India and Pakistan are currently trading in sophisticated weapons. Operation Sindhur's second phase is in full swing. Missiles and drones have been fired at India. India has used very sophisticated drones to take down air defence installations in Lahore and other places which Pakistan is not acknowledging. But the reality on the ground once again is this crater. How many more craters in how many more human settlements, non-military, innocent human civilian settlements is Pakistan going to target? Is going to be that big question. Remember, the army, the military today has acknowledged a large number of civilian deaths in different places. What is it going to take for Pakistan to be a true country and stop targeting civilian installations? There is a military confrontation going on between India and Pakistan. When will Pakistan stop using civilians as targets? At the line of control in Chaukibal in Kupwara, with Ashwini Mehra, Shiv Arur, NDTV. And joining us live, very privileged to be joined by former Chief of the Indian Air Force, Air Chief Marshal RKS Bhadoria, on a day when India has announced drone strikes in Lahore and other cities of Pakistan, and its integrated air defense system shooting down a myriad number of missiles and drones fired from Pakistan at Indian military establishments. Air Chief Bhadoria, thank you very much, sir, for your time here on India Matters. Privileged to be with you from here at the line of control near Kupwara sector. My first question to you, sir, on the drone strikes in Lahore, your reading of Operation Sindoor 2.0, sir.
I think Pakistan has made a big mistake by initiating action against military targets. What they've done in terms of sending drones and missile attacks on 15 bases. So this is a big mistake, and it is because of this step from Pakistan that Indian Air Force has taken the step of sending those loitering munitions. Those are armed drones. And some of the targets which videos and photographs are available and displayed. Lahore's target is fully destroyed, and I'm sure there are one or two more such targets which are being reported from Pakistani side as much, which have already also been disabled. It's a big step. Modern weapons have been used, not only loitering munition, but on some targets, S-400. Some of the information has come out. Some information will probably come out later. As you are aware, our defense services, some of the information in terms of targets achieved, they would do their damage assessment and only then release. So this is an escalatory step, but of Pakistan's doing. Our response has been firm, a very, very clear response, yet restrained. It is still with a lot of restraint, because very clearly, if we had to do a full response towards conventional conflict build-up, we would have taken out many such targets close to LOC or close to international boundary, dealing with air defense, to suppress their air defense. We have not done that. We have done it in some chosen places to just give a measured response to their act. To me, the escalation ladder, the ball is in Pakistan's court.
Drone warfare for the first time, India using drones in this way to strike targets across the border. A very big step for India.
Yes, absolutely. First paradigm is shifted because these kind of capabilities available today at a very, very good cost. Secondly, it has its own advantages in terms of the kind of targets and kind of flexibility it gives you in targeting, and in terms of own risks which get reduced drastically. So overall, this is the new age in terms of utilization of drones and armed drones. A trailer of that was visible now, and should things continue to escalate, more such capability and activity would be seen.
Talk to us, Air Chief, about the, what you mentioned in the beginning about the integrated air defense system in India. Usually we hear about gaps and things like that. But from what the Indian government has announced today, it seems like India's air defense shield has worked immaculately. Apparently, a large number of those missiles and drones targeting Indian military establishments in 15 different cities, were all intercepted, sir. How did that work? Amazing.
Yeah. So we have a very, very capable integrated air defense system. Very, very capable. And I think most of the people know, but I would just like to remind that this entire system is indigenous. So we took some time building, but we have built it, and it is pan-India. Our entire area of operations currently that is in focus is fully covered. And you saw the result. Whatever their incursions were, everything was known, everything was tackled in time. And not only that, the initial information and some of the information based on which we would utilize S-400 initiates from here. S-400 itself is a very capable system. So when you have integrated defense system, and systems like S-400, below the S-400 we have MR SAMs, and then we have shorter range SAMs, we have Akash systems. Overall, we have a complete array of weapons towards air defense. And you saw the result. This is just a trailer, I say again. Should it continue to escalate, you will see the real capability.
I'm so... No, I hope it is a trailer, but I also hope it is not a trailer, because we don't want any further escalations, and we have sent out a very clear message to Pakistan that if there is another escalation, of course, these trailers show that India is more than ready and India's personnel are more than ready. Air Chief Bhadoria, always a pleasure to get your wisdom on this complex subject. Thank you very much for being with me.